Russia's population is in historic decline from emigration, war and plunging birth rate.
Here's a summary of the article.
President Vladimir Putin spent years racing against Russia's demographic clock, only to order an invasion of Ukraine that's consigning his country's population to a historic decline. Crippling disruptions from the war are converging with a population crisis rooted in the 1990s, a period of economic hardship after the Soviet breakup that sent fertility rates plunging. Should military operations continue in the coming months, as expected, Russia may see less than 1.2 million births next year, the lowest in modern history, according to Igor Efremov, a researcher and specialist in demographics at the Gaida Institute in Moscow. Bloomberg Economics now estimates Russia's potential growth rate at 0.5%, down 2 percentage points from before the war, with demographics accounting for about a quarter of the downgrade. Unfavorable demographics in the areas of Ukraine that Putin plans to annex is only likely to add to the challenges Russia faces from a growing population burden, Renaissance Capital economists said in a report this month. As Russia approached the invasion of Ukraine in February, it was coming off its deadliest year since World War II, made worse by the pandemic, with the population in decline since 2018. The fertility rate may reach 1.2 children per woman, he said, a level Russia saw only once in 1999-2000.
This post received a score of 36,000, with an upvote ratio of 94%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
His reaction to this problem is to kidnap people in Ukraine. The man is evil to his core.
That's the only way he can get anyone to move to his shit country. Expect him to kidnap from other surrounding white countries also.
Wait until the Russians in the US get messages saying they've been called up.
There's about 400,000. Don't think many of them would show up.
I work with a Russian national. He's been in the US for about 6 years. Came here as a student but somehow he got permanent resident alien status. And work permit. Guy is worried sick about his family. Back home. Also worried about being targeted here. Not by Russian agents. He moved to a new apartment. About a month after the shit started. Said he told his new neighbors he was Polish.
We're seeing much more xenophobia against Russians since the invasion, and it's probably not going to get better in the near future. It's ironic that Putin's justification for his invasion was alleged persecution of Russians in Ukraine. Now there's probably no living person who's done more to encourage hatred of Russians than him.
Dude, you'd be surprised. I'm Russian living in the US. Think this whole thing is a fucking travesty and am incredibly ashamed of my country right now. Was in Europe recently for a vacation trip with my Belarusian friend, and the number of people that ranted to us about how great Putin is was frankly insane. We stopped at a weed shop in Amsterdam and the guy working the counter told us how he really wants to move to Russia, but was denied residency there. Apparently Putin is a real man, not like our pussy leaders. That guy does not realize how good he has it.
A weed dealer wants to move to Russia.
Meanwhile, a US citizen was sentenced to prison for possession of weed in Russia.
Sure, but she was a lefty lesbian, so that's fine. The weed guy, probably.
Brain drain. Russia is getting dumber.
The main issue is the PTSD being brought home by soldiers is going to worsen all of Russia's cultural issues in the long term.
PTSD plus so much booze plus miserable Russian culture equals woo boy fun times.
You left out the magic ingredient, legalized domestic violence.
And pandemic scale fetal alcohol syndrome.
The biggest threat to the Russian population, its president, and its people.
The biggest threat to the Russian population is the Russian population.
This makes me think of the book, Our Dumb World, by The Onion, and Russia's headline was something to the effect of, Where Russians Go to Die.
TBH, that satire headline aged pretty well, I suppose.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.